Welcome back to GMA 3. As the Taliban retakes control of Afghanistan, Republicans on the House Homeland Security Committee are sounding the alarm, tweeting, quote, "The region has returned to a pre-9/11 breeding ground just weeks before the 20th anniversary of September 11th. Let's bring in one of the committee's ranking members, New York Congressman John Katko. Congressman Katko, thank you for being with us. And you've warned that this new Afghanistan could become, and I'll quote here, the world headquarters of terrorism. Talk about your immediate concerns and what we can do as a country to prevent the worst from happening.
Well, my immediate concern is that they're going to go back to a pre-9/11 footing in Afghanistan. And if you recall, Afghanistan pre-9/11 is where al-Qaeda and the others gained strength and trained to do the attack on the United States. And it was a breeding ground for terrorism. And we're going back to that footing. It certainly seems like that, especially since al-Qaeda already has a significant presence there and is very strongly tied with the Taliban.
So what can be done, if anything?
Well, I tell you, a couple of things we can do. I'm not sure this administration is willing to do it. I think the first thing we need to do is to secure our southern border, because if we don't, there's been an uptick in the flow of known and suspected terrorists coming across the southern border that have been apprehended, not the ones we haven't apprehended, obviously. And it's really kind of an open door for a lot of these terror groups to exploit. So that's something we can do. We also need to redouble our intelligence efforts, but it's going to be very difficult because we don't have boots on the ground anymore in Afghanistan, and we certainly don't have the intelligence gathering that we've had for the last 20 years that's helped prevent another major attack.
Congressman, I want to take a listen to our exclusive interview. George Stephanopoulos, of course, sat down with President Joe Biden to talk about the deteriorating situation in Afghanistan. Let's take a listen.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
Congressman, what do you make of the president's assertion that that chaos we've seen this week was unavoidable?
Well, I think I got to just go back to his comments in July. I think it was July 8th, and he was assuring everybody that this would be an orderly exit. We're not going to have another Saigon moment. We're not going to have people on the rooftops of the embassy. They had all of that. So he's dead wrong. And the problem is he's trying to put the genie back in the bottle because he is the one, against the wishes of many of his senior advisors, made the decision to get out now. And the problem is we've got an awful lot of people that are still there. My office alone in the last couple of days has received literally dozens of requests for help of people trapped in Afghanistan. And we saw last night, women are literally throwing their babies over barbed wire to try and get out of the chaos here. It's a mess, and it's got to fall squarely on his shoulders.
I'm curious if you support GOP House Leader Kevin McCarthy's calls to investigate how the Biden administration has been handling the situation. Would you agree that an investigation is needed?
Well, one of our key things that we do in Congress is oversight. So absolutely, oversight is needed here. And listen, this isn't a partisan move. I led the charge for a January 6th commission after the January 6th events, obviously, and I'm a Republican. So our job is oversight. Our job is looking at after-action reports and seeing what we can do better next time, and we should do that for sure here.
And certainly you just described the heart-rending scenes of desperate people trying to get out alive. We heard President Biden tell George and say unequivocally that he is committed to keeping troops there until all Americans get out safely of Afghanistan. And he had this August 31st withdrawal deadline that he's still contending with. Do you think that we're doing everything we can do to get American citizens out and those Afghanis who helped us through this 20-year war? Are we doing everything we can to get them out safely?
Well, that's a great question. I can only tell you this, that the State Department issued a communication yesterday, and they said that we will be here at the airport. We will get you out, but we can't guarantee your safe passage to the airport. So there's got to be more they can be doing, and there's got to be more pressure they can put on the Taliban to let these people through. They've created a horrendous situation for these people, and I'm not sure they can do anything more about it right now, unfortunately, because of the situation they are now in, unless they send in a lot more troops, which I don't think people are ready for. So it's a very difficult situation, and I hope they stay until every last person is gone. But the problem is you have the Taliban ringing the airport, and if you go up and say, "Let me through, Taliban, because I'm a friendly of the United States," what the heck do you think they're going to do? that's the situation we're in right now.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking in every way. Ranking member of the House Homeland Security Committee, New York Congressman John Katko, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for being on the program.
Happy to come on anytime. Thank you.